Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be reviewing an 83-cent Oxxo branded disposable lighter from Mexico, which I will admit I am quite excited to do. But what is Oxxo, and why am I excited to review an Oxxo branded lighter? Well, Oxxo is a convenience store chain from Mexico, which was first started in 1977 in Monterrey, Mexico. These days, Oxxo is a nationwide brand, and they boast just about, I want to say, 20,000 different locations, which is quite nuts if I do say so myself. 20,000 different locations means that Oxxo is most definitively the largest convenience store chain in Mexico. But in my personal opinion, they're not only the largest, they are also the best. They have a pretty good selection of drinks, they have a pretty good selection of snacks, and they have a pretty good selection of cigarettes. So I certainly cannot complain, that is for sure. So of course, when I saw an Oxxo branded lighter on the top of the counter at a local Oxxo in the area of Mexico I'm staying in right now, I had to pick it up. And of course, I got to make a video about it and let you guys know whether I think it's actually worth the 14 pesos or just about 83 cents USD with the current exchange rate that I paid for it. But I will admit, while it is a neat little branded thing kind of thing, and I don't regret purchasing this, I don't really think it's a good lighter, just right off the bat kind of thing, just right off the bat. Just simply because this lighter is not made by Oxxo. Well, of course not. Oxxo is not a lighter brand. It's a convenience store chain. Of course, they're going to outsource the production of this lighter to somebody else. This lighter, though, is made by GIL. Now, GIL is a very, very, very cheap, disposable lighter-focused brand, I want to say, kind of thing. Company, I do suppose, is probably the right way of putting it. And when I say cheap, I don't mean Clipper cheap, I don't mean BIC cheap, I don't mean D-Jeep cheap, I mean crack lighter cheap. That is what GIL focuses on. They focus on making super ultra mega cheap crack lighters, even cheaper than BIC, even cheaper than Clippers. And since this is made by GIL, this is essentially just, I hate to say it, an Oxxo branded crack lighter, which is a shame if I do say so myself. But nonetheless, I certainly am looking forward to letting you guys know what I think of this lighter in today's video, and letting you guys know whether I think it was worth the 14 pesos or just about 83 cents USD I paid for this lighter right here. First off, I'm going to be going over the looks of the lighter, the usability of the lighter, the ergonomics of the lighter, and the quality of the lighter. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and test the flame and show you guys some of the features the lighter has. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get one of my Winston Classic Red cigarettes, all lit up with my 83-cent Oxxo branded lighter, and let you guys know just how good it is at lighting well cigarettes. But first off, as said, we got to go ahead and take a look at the actual look of the lighter, which I will admit is a pretty basic kind of thing. It just looks like a pretty basic branded lighter kind of thing. We can see there's just a, I'm getting my words just a little bit jumbled up. We can just see the background for the bottom, for the fluid container part of the lighter is just a very nice, just solid black kind of thing. We can just see there's a black band going around the fluid container part in the top of the lighter right here. The metal shroud right here is, of course, just a silver metal shroud. Not really too much going on or nothing like that kind of thing. The flint wheel is just a normal flint wheel that spins on its own, and the button right here is just black plastic as well. Really not too much interesting stuff going on with the actual base look of the lighter itself. But where it does get a little bit more interesting, in my personal opinion, is the actual Oxxo branding itself. We can see the classic Oxxo logo right here. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. That's all in white on the black background. You know what I'm saying? It looks pretty good if I do say so myself. Just says Oxxo right there with a copyright symbol right there. And then it just says a la vuelta de tu vida, which I believe, if I remember correctly, because I did translate that before this video, it just means like on your back or something like that kind of thing, or at your back. I think that's what it means. I'm pretty sure it means at your back. So it's like Oxxo, we got your back kind of thing. That's what they're trying to say. I get the impression, and I got to take a sip of water real quick. Oh my goodness. Wow, my throat is just dying today, that is for sure, y'all. I'm getting a little bit raspy. I don't know what's going on. Oh man, that made it worse. What's going on? I gotta take another sip of water. I don't know what's going on with my voice today, y'all. I don't know what's going on with my voice today, but definitely getting a little bit raspy, that is for sure. That smoker's voice definitely coming on a little bit. Hey, no complaints by behalf, you know what I'm saying? But we can just see it just says a la vuelta de tu vida, which pretty much just means we got your back kind of thing. So it's basically just trying to say, Oxxo, we got your back. Hey, makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Makes sense, that is for sure. But that's not all there is to Oxxo branding on this lighter. I think the coolest Oxxo branding on this lighter is actually on the metal shroud itself. Now, usually on any typical lighter, it would actually just say the lighter company, the people who made the lighter, on the metal shroud. Not on this one though, not on this one. I don't know how well y'all can see, but on the metal shroud right there, it does indeed have the Oxxo logo, just like it has right here. That is probably one of the coolest little bits of branding I have seen on a lighter angle. I really do like that. That is some nice customizability right there. And it doesn't just say that on this side, it also says it on the other side as well. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. But that's pretty much all there is to the Oxxo branding on the lighter. That's pretty much all there is to that, which is a little bit of a shame. I would have liked to see some more Oxxo branding after all, but I mean, like, it is what it is kind of thing. It is only an 83-cent lighter after all, so I'll take what I can get, you know what I'm saying? I'll take what I can get. Moving on from the Oxxo branding itself, and there's a bunch of bugs on my phone right now. I'm getting a little bit distracted. Moving on from the Oxxo branding itself, though, we can just see there is a little bit of a warning sticker right here, which I believe I have upside down. Yep, this is just a warning sticker, though. It just says at the top right here in black, it just says Encendedor desechable gas para fumadores, which I just want to say it means something like it contains explosive gas or something like that. And then it just says precaution, no se deja alcance de los niños, which I want to say just means caution, keep away from children. And then it just says no exporlo a más de 50 Celsius o los rayos del sol, which I want to say it just says, I'm pretty sure that means what does that mean? I know what it means, it's just on the tip of my tongue right now. I'm pretty sure that means do not expose to temperatures over 50 Celsius and keep out of the sun. I'm pretty sure that's what that means right there. And then under that, it just says no parafalo o experlo al fuego, which I'm pretty sure just means like do not like pierce or something like that kind of thing, otherwise it may explode. That's kind of what I'm thinking. At least we can see the actual model number for this lighter right here though, right there where my finger is, and there's a bug going on my ear. It just says Modelo GIL-2-CG1S. So that's the actual model number of the lighter itself, the unbranded model number. That is what the actual model number is for this lighter. And then we can just see under that this lighter is of course not made in Mexico. It says hecho en Vietnam, and so of course this lighter is indeed made in Vietnam, because that's what that means. Then it just says NOMTOC, I don't know what that means. And then it just has like a little logo right there, and then it just says GIL right there, and then under that it just says that this contains one piece, and then we can just see the barcode right there. And yeah, so it's a pretty typical sort of just warning label and everything like that kind of thing. Just got to make sure, hey, you don't get the lighter exploding in your car, and you don't give it to your children and they burn their face off or nothing like that kind of thing. Pretty typical warning label, just to make sure there's no liability coming back to GIL or to Oxxo because they sell the lighter to somebody who doesn't know how to operate a lighter for some whatever reason kind of thing. But that's pretty much all there is to this sticker right here. Moving on to this side of the lighter, we can see there's nothing, there's no branding or anything like that. I would have loved to see Oxxo branding on both sides, but nope, it's only on one side. This is just a flat black side with no text or nothing on it kind of thing. And we can see a rounded side on this side as well is pretty much the same. There's nothing really too much interesting going on, and that's pretty much all there is to the look of the actual fluid container area of the lighter itself, except for the bottom of the lighter, which I will admit I almost forgot about. The bottom of the lighter, pretty basic look. You cannot refill this lighter, as we can tell, and it just says at the top right there, it just says VG35G and then something else, and then it just says 18. I don't know what any of that means, in all honesty. Probably some sort of product code or something like that kind of thing. Not exactly sure. We can see, though, they have sealed up the filling area of this lighter. So, yeah, this lighter is definitely not refillable. It is what it is, but it is essentially just a crack lighter after all. So that's really no surprise, I do suppose. But that's pretty much all there is to the, I do suppose, lighter fluid holding portion of the lighter. We can see the band connecting this portion of the lighter to the, I'd have to say, flame shroud right here. It's just black black once again, but it's a little bit more of a matte black rather than being a super shiny black. Still has some shininess to it, but it's just a slightly different form of plastic, I'd want to say. Probably something maybe a little bit softer, a little bit more malleable. I don't know. It feels like a little bit softer under my finger kind of thing. Maybe it's a little bit more malleable just in case you go something like that or something like that kind of thing. It doesn't just snap apart. Not exactly sure. Either way, though, not bad at all if I do say so myself, but there's really nothing going on with that. And then we could just see the flame shroud right here. Once again, we can just see the Oxxo logos on both sides of the lighter. And at the front, we can just see that this lighter does indeed have a flame adjustment, which is pretty cool if I do say so myself. But there's really not too much going on with the flame shroud itself. We can just see the flame shroud just goes up over here. We can just see the wheel right here, and the wheel just spins under my finger just like that. And then we can just see the button right here being made of black plastic. I want to say the exact same kind of black plastic that the band right here is made out of as well. But that's pretty much all there is to the look of the lighter. It is very much just a very cheap branded crack lighter. That's pretty much what this lighter is. It's not luxury. It's cool. I like some of the aspects of the Oxxo branding they did and everything like that kind of thing. I really like that it says Oxxo on the metal shroud. I think that's super cool. That is for sure. But it is very much just a cheap crack lighter that just happens to be branded kind of thing. It's very much just that kind of thing. And the look of it is not really anything all that cool kind of thing. The look of it is not really anything all that cool. The cool part about this lighter is the branding. Other than that, you take the branding away, it's no longer a cool lighter kind of thing. It's just a crack lighter at that point. But what is the quality of this lighter like? As I'm sure you guys can tell, I'm not really the biggest fan of the look of this lighter besides the branding, and I'm not really the biggest fan of the quality of this lighter either. When you shake this lighter, you can hear rattles coming from the wheel right there. If you put my finger on the wheel, it no longer rattles. So yeah, that's just rattling just like that kind of thing. I don't like that. That just says a lot about the quality of the lighter in my personal opinion. Just racking on this with my knuckle right here kind of thing, just racking on the lighter. You're getting rattles and everything like that kind of thing. This doesn't feel like it would like come apart in your hand or anything like that. It's definitely a lighter that's going to stay together unless maybe you toss it at the ground, try to get it in a little bit of an explosion or something like that kind of thing. But overall, more so than not, it's decent quality. I mean, like, it's nothing like a let me get my BIC lighter out of my pocket real quick. It's nothing like a BIC lighter. Let me just put it that way. You shake this, there ain't no noises or anything like that kind of thing. You can definitely tell this is a cheaper lighter just simply because it does indeed rattle and everything like that kind of thing. And of course, the flint wheel still spins even when you're not like pressing down on it and everything like that kind of thing. I do figure that is maybe a like safety thing or something like that kind of thing. Not exactly sure, but this does spin, which just causes the rattling, which just kind of comes off as low quality. I mean, overall, this lighter is definitely not like super well built kind of thing. Definitely not as well built as my BIC lighter right here. And we can just look at the sizing of this lighter. It is just about the same size as my normal size BIC lighter kind of thing. Maybe a little bit thinner, but not really terribly so if I do say so myself. Just hold those up side by side. It's about the same size, a little bit thinner kind of thing, but I'd have to say a little bit smaller overall. But the weight difference is absolutely ludicrous. You can definitely tell that this has lower quality plastics being used than this lighter right here. When I press down with my fingers on the lighter, I can definitely feel the plastic just giving way just the tiniest bit kind of thing. With this, on the other hand, not at all. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. You can definitely tell the quality differences between these two lighters right off the bat. Now, of course, it's not a super fair comparison because this is like a super cheap crack lighter kind of thing, and this is like the highest end, one of the highest end disposable lighters you can buy kind of thing. So it's not really a super fair comparison, but still, they're both disposable lighters, and the quality of this one pales in comparison to the classic BIC. But it's a 14 peso crack lighter, so really it's kind of to be expected in all honesty. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the quality of the lighter. I want to say ergonomics of the lighter, not too bad if I do say so myself. It's a little bit thin in my hand, but it's not really all that bad kind of thing. It's not really all that bad. It's definitely still quite usable if I do say so myself. It definitely is still quite usable. It's not as ergonomically sound as a classic BIC lighter or a BIC lighter in general, except for a BIC Mini in my personal opinion, but it's definitely not bad kind of thing. The ergonomics are not bad. It's just a basic sort of crack lighter kind of thing. The ergonomics are not bad, but they're not really good either, but it's usable kind of thing, and it's not uncomfy to use by any means. The ergonomics aren't bad. Usability of it is... Got another bug on my finger. The bugs be coming at me today, I ain't gonna lie. The usability of it is not too bad kind of thing. The usability of it is not too bad. doesn't hurt to use or anything like that kind of thing. The ergonomics are all right. It's easy to use overall. It's easy to get a flame going and everything like that kind of thing. It's not too bad to use, but it is just very cheap. It's very light kind of thing. It's a very light lighter, that is for sure. Much lighter than a BIC lighter. It doesn't feel like quality kind of thing. You feel like you're using something cheap, but it's an 83-cent crack lighter, so who really cares in all honesty? But yeah, no, I think that's everything I wanted to say about like the look, the quality, the feel, and the usability of the lighter. Now I want to go ahead and show you guys some of the features of the lighter, and I want to go ahead and just test the flame just a little bit real quick. I know I was flicking the flame just a little bit, but I wasn't really doing real tests. So let's go ahead and test the flame after I show you guys one of the nice features about this lighter. Now, even though this lighter is so cheap, it does need to have a flame adjustment, which is, in all honesty, something you usually see on really cheap crack lighters, because if you're going to be, well, smoking crack, you got to have a big flame for your glass pipe kind of thing. So of course it's going to have a flame adjustment. So yeah, that definitely makes this seem more like a crack lighter, that is for sure. Currently it is on the highest setting. Let's go and see what the flame is like on the highest setting though. And the flame is decently sized. I'm gonna go and get my BIC lighter out once again and just compare the flame sizes. I'd have to say the flame size on my BIC lighter is actually slightly bigger, and I'd have to say it's a little bit bolder as well kind of thing. The flame size on this one does not seem to be like as bold kind of thing, and let me tell y'all what as well, that metal heats up very quickly, whereas on the BIC, I mean, like, it heats up a little bit kind of thing, but it's not bad. This, on the other hand, is like scalding just after a second. This metal, you can definitely tell the metal on the top of this lighter is a little bit thinner than the metal right here as well, and this is already pretty thin metal kind of thing. This is a pretty thin shroud, but it's even thinner on this one. This one heats up way faster. Wow. But it also does cool down just as fast as it gets warm, I will admit. But you know, the flame, not the biggest flame in the world, especially for being on the highest adjustment setting at the moment kind of thing. I'd have to say it was about the same size, if not just a little bit smaller than a normal BIC lighter kind of thing. And I'd have to say the flame as well was definitely a lot less potent as well kind of thing. The flame on the BIC lighter seems to have a very nice edge to it kind of thing, whereas this is more fuzzy kind of thing. It doesn't really have a really nice edge to it, which I think will allow it to be blown out a little bit easier kind of thing. But it's an 83-cent lighter, so really, what can I say? And there's a bug on my phone right now. Get off my phone. Get off my phone. What's this bug doing on my phone, bruh? What's this bug doing on my phone? It's still on my phone. I really wasn't even trying to murk the bug. I was really just trying to get him off my phone. He was on my screen. He was distracting me, you know what I'm saying? The bugs, they be coming at me today, you know what I'm saying? They're my worst enemy, I swear. But let's go ahead and test the lighter on the softest setting as well. And on the softest setting, it is tiny, unusable. You can't use that kind of thing. That is a tiny flame. And it just blows out just like that kind of thing, of course. No big surprise kind of thing. It's going to blow out pretty easily on the smallest setting. How easily does this blow out on the largest setting as well? It blows out pretty easily kind of thing, I will admit. It blows out pretty easily. Does it blow out easier than a BIC lighter? In my personal opinion, yeah, 100%. I just don't think that the fluid is coming out in like as concise of a pattern like a BIC lighter. Now, BIC lighters definitely, of course, don't stay lit the greatest as well kind of thing. They do that as well kind of thing, but when we look at these side by side, we can definitely tell one has a harder flame right here and one has a softer flame, and this softer flame right here is gonna go out a little bit faster. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind if you're looking at this lighter. But I mean, like, it's 83 cents kind of thing. I know I keep saying that, but it is only an 83 cent lighter, whereas this is like $1.50. This is like almost double the price. So I really can't hate on it too much kind of thing. But I think that's everything I wanted to say about the feature kind of thing. You definitely don't want to use this lighter on the lowest setting. You definitely do want to always use it on the highest setting kind of thing. Even on the medium setting, I doubt it would be particularly good. Let's just go and test it on the medium setting real quick. In the medium setting, it's just about medium kind of thing. The flame adjustment does actually work. It is actually adjustable. It's not just low, high. It does actually have areas in the middle as well. But yeah, this lighter definitely works best on the highest setting kind of thing. No surprise there, I do suppose. No surprise there. But I do suppose the next and last thing that I need to do is to find out whether this lighter is any good at lighting cigarettes. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a sip of water. I have some tap water in a Epura water bottle from Mexico. Just going to take a sip of water real quick. And let's go ahead and get one of my Winston Classic red cigarettes from Mexico all out. And now, momentarily, I'm gonna go and get it all lit up. Although first off, I should probably get my ashtray all opened and put it on the ground. And then now, I do think without further ado, it is time for me to go ahead and get this cigarette right here all lit up with my 83-cent Oxxo Branded Disposable Lighter from Mexico. Without further ado, let's see how well this lighter right here actually lights up. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying, or actually lights a cigarette up, to say it correctly. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying. I mean, like, it did an okay job kind of thing. I will admit, one thing I'm noticing right off the bat is a surprising lack of lighter fluid taste. A surprising lack of lighter fluid taste. That is surprising. I don't know if it's just the taste of the cigarette covering it up, or if there really is not much lighter fluid taste. But right off the bat, I'm not noticing any, which is very, very, very surprising if I do say so myself. Overall, though, it definitely didn't do a bad job of lighting up my cigarette, that is for sure. But I'd also have to say it didn't really do a good job either. It's not really super good. I'm like, it's okay at lighting cigarettes for sure kind of thing, but it's not like great at lighting cigarettes, let me just put it that way kind of thing. It's definitely not as good as like a BIC lighter per se or something like that kind of thing, but it did the job kind of thing. It did the job, it did it okay kind of thing. The flame, in my opinion, is not quite as harsh as it should have been. It is definitely a weaker flame than a BIC lighter in my personal opinion, which made it worse for lighting a cigarette with, but it's an 83-cent lighter and it got the job done kind of thing. This is not something I would buy to actually use on a daily basis. This is just something I bought because it's Oxxo branded, in all honesty, and I don't plan on using this on a daily basis, just simply because it's a crack lighter and I don't like using crack lighters. I like to feel like I'm using something a little bit quality, even if it is still only a $1.50 disposable BIC lighter. This certainly does not feel like quality when you're lighting your cigarette. It definitely does not do the greatest job of lighting your cigarette. It gets the job done kind of thing, but not as easily as something like, let's say, a Clipper or a BIC or a D-Jeep or something like that kind of thing. This is not really a super good lighter. It gets the job done for a very cheap price, but it's not really the greatest lighter in the world, in all honesty, and I wouldn't buy this lighter again unless they came out with a new version of Oxxo branded lighters, and then I'd buy it again just to have the newest version, or the newest design on the lighter, I do suppose the right way of putting it. But definitely not a lighter I'd buy again to actually use as a lighter, and not something I'm planning on using on a daily basis. It's just really cheap, really low quality kind of thing. No surprise there, it's a really cheap lighter made by GIL. Really no surprise about the quality or feel of the lighter or anything like that kind of thing. The only reason I bought this lighter, as said, is because it's Oxxo branded. Other than that, I would have never bought this lighter, in all honesty. But it gets the job done, you know what I'm saying? It gets the job done. It got my cigarette all lit up. I, for some reason, didn't taste any lighter fluid taste, which I will admit was a surprise. I feel like there was probably some lighter fluid taste in there. I maybe just didn't notice it, or maybe there really wasn't a lighter fluid taste. I don't know. Either way, a little bit of surprise. Maybe that's a factor of the weaker flame kind of thing. Definitely it has a little bit of a weaker flame than a BIC lighter, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I didn't taste any lighter fluid taste. I don't know. Very interesting if I do say so myself. Very, very, very interesting. But it did an okay job at lighting my cigarette. Nothing exorbitant kind of thing. It's just a lighter to use. Does an okay job. I definitely still prefer a BIC lighter. BIC lighters definitely do a better job. It's an okay lighter. It's a good lighter for the price, but I would much rather spend an extra 75 cents to just get a BIC lighter, in all honesty. I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this lighter right here, though. So I'm gonna go and try to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot real quick before the end of the video. And we can see it's a little bit breezy right now. The flame just keeps going out. Maybe no screenshot right now, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll grab that after the video, once the wind calms down just a little bit, because it is getting a little bit breezy. But, you know, we can definitely tell this lighter not wind resistant at all, you know what I'm saying? Not wind resistant at all. But I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching my review of the 83-cent Oxxo branded disposable lighter that I bought here in Mexico. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, please make sure to, well, like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. Box, and my second channel all in the description down below. Go check it all out. But you know, thank you so much for watching, y'all. To the next one, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying. Gotta step out my cigarette first, though. There we go. Have a great one, y'all. Stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying.